Welcome back to another edition of the League of the Genuine. It's always a pleasure to be with you, to join us every Friday to discuss the important subject of counterfeits. This is the only show on the planet. You can watch us from anywhere in Africa, anywhere in the world. We are discussing the subject of counterfeits, fake products and services, which have turned Africa into a dumping ground. Last week, we had a brilliant discussion with our friend, a lead investigator at Clapper House, Mr. Solomon Wilson Oyebode. He's an African from Nigeria. He was kind enough to share with us his experience doing investigation in Africa. He works in about 5 countries, including Uganda. He's right now in Uganda, where he has an office. And last episode, we discussed his experience with some products like Pampers for the babies, products like sanitary pads for the ladies, and he was able to show us how we can tell the fake products, how they look, and we did find them on the market. We appreciate your responses. Of course, there have been a lot of reaction. Why are the products onto the market? How did they get into the market? People are asking customs, did those products pay taxes? How are they hurting the babies or the ladies? All those issues. But Solomon agreed to continue discussing his findings as an investigator in Africa on counterfeits. And he's here yet again to share more knowledge and more information about how to tell these fake products when they are in the market. Solomon, you are welcome once again to this second episode.
Thank you very much, Fred. It's always my pleasure to be here. And I want to commend ACN for the work you are doing across the entire African continent. And I want to encourage you to continue. And we'll support you wherever the need be for us to support ACN as far as the fight against counterfeit is concerned. Thank you for having me once again.
That's a big endorsement from the big man here. Solomon, before we get into the action, yes. I was just looking at your profile. And being an African from Nigeria, you're very famous for these things. You like education too much. You yourself, you have 2 degrees, a degree in economics, a degree in, you call it what? Digital forensics, criminal investigations,
yes.
A master's in
criminology.
Criminology. Why do you Africans from Nigeria have this big fuss about degrees upon degrees and masters?
First and foremost, Fred, you must realize that I come from a nation of over 200 million people. And it's a highly competitive economy where you really have to struggle it out, and you must also have the requisite qualification and competence to vie for any office. So it is important for you to acquire skills as well as education. So it is quite common in Nigeria to find people who have degrees. You have, of course, if you go into Nigeria, you discover that most of our presidents, after leaving office, went back to school. President Obasanjo, after leaving office, went back to school to study, and now he has a PhD. In 1975, we have General Gowon. After leaving office, he went back to school. We also have two of our vice presidents, Rear Admiral Mike Aigbe. After leaving office as a vice president, he went back to school. We also have one of our former vice president, General Dia, left school, and so many other senators and governors.
Too many degrees, masters,
yes,
PhDs, and so. So what are you schooling yourselves in? Are you schooling yourselves in governance? That because you went to school too much, you have good governance? I don't know how many coups you have had. So is this schooling helping the country in governance, for example?
Yes, it is helping, but you see, all over Africa, I think we have the same problem in terms of we are not able to bring the value of our education to governance, and that's why across Africa, not just Nigeria, we have issues with governance, and so. But it's a very competitive market. You only stand a chance if you have the prerequisite qualification, so you have no choice but to go to school and acquire education.
Okay, I think after this show, if I stop presenting, I will have gone back to school to catch up with my friend here, Solomon. But enough of what it is you have done at a personal level, education and so on. I know that you come from a background of also doing anti-counterfeit work in the most populous nation in Africa, which is Nigeria. And it is that experience that you bring on table. Before we go into, because this episode we would like again to share, for you to share some more information on these products we find on the markets that are fake, that ordinary consumers cannot easily identify. But before that happens, let's go back to Nigeria a bit. Nigeria is reputed for being both a destination and an export source for a lot of counterfeits in Africa. A lot of the countries that are neighboring, even as far as Congo here, a lot of imports of products, electronics and so on, are coming from Nigeria. Do you think Nigeria is the China of Africa in terms of producing counterfeits?
Yeah, thank you, Fred. I must mention to you that Nigeria is quite a very big market. And most of major manufacturers across the world target the Nigerian market because
they have a presence.
Yes, if you have a presence in the Nigerian market, you are sure that by extension, your products will get into other African countries. To the west, Nigeria distributes its products as far as Gambia. Down south, trucks will load from Nigeria to as far as DR Congo, to Cameroon. So Nigeria is the destination for most of the counterfeit products. Then they are now redistributed. So if you find a product in the Nigerian market, you are sure to find it distributed to the south, to the west, and across Africa. So most of the counterfeit products that come from Nigeria are actually not manufactured in Nigeria. It's just a very few percentage are manufactured in Nigeria, but they're actually redistributed and rechanneled as part of the distribution for counterfeit to other African countries.
So is it correct to say that Nigeria is aiding and abetting the counterfeit problem we have? And what measures are being taken in Nigeria to stop?
Yes, I wouldn't say Nigeria is aiding and abetting, but you see, where you have trade, there is no how you are going to distinguish the counterfeit supply chain. It's difficult to actually distinguish between the legitimate and the counterfeit supply chain. So but because of the strategic position in Nigeria and the purchasing power of the Nigerian businessman, let me give you an instance. Most of the Nigerian businessmen have stationed agents in India, in China, where they actually ship containers. Some are shipping 10 containers, 50 containers per month. You know what I'm saying?
And then they distribute.
Yes, and because of the trade principles where you say there's a minimum quantity order, most of the manufacturers prefer to deal with those who can actually order quite a reasonable amount of quantity of goods. So these Nigerians have the powers, the purchasing power. So most of the containers are going to Nigeria, and then they prefer to transship to other countries, to East Africa and other countries of the world. So you find out today, most of the creams you find on the Nigerian market are actually coming from Cameroon. Some are coming from Nigeria and West Africa, all over.
But they are here in the East African.
But they are here in the East African markets. They are in all the supermarkets. So it's a redistributing channel. So what we need in Africa is, maybe as part of the efforts we need to actually embark upon, is to be able to distinguish between the legitimate supply chain and the counterfeit supply chain.
Are you saying with all the degrees and PhDs and masters that you guys have there in Nigeria, you have failed to study how to differentiate the genuine from the fake? Because you provide some gate, at least for us, and make sure that before you redistribute, before you actually import, you demand for quality, because they are genuine quality products manufactured in China. China manufactures for the whole world, it's the world's factory. But China exports genuine products to the EU, for example, maybe to South America. Why are you, who are representing us, allowing for us to take the fakes? Haven't you put, in other words, what mechanism has a big nation like Nigeria put in place to ensure that we only allow access of genuine products?
Yeah, you see, various bands have embarked upon training program for law enforcement. I've actually undertook a lot of training for law enforcement agents, and we have lineup of trainings that are coming up. We are beginning to develop the capacity of law enforcement agencies that are responsible for regulating counterfeit inflow into Nigerian markets. And I think we are doing well. We have the NAFDAC, we have the National Drug Law Enforcement Agencies, we have the Customs, we have Interpol. We are developing the capacities. There's a lot of training going on, and we intend to see that this will trickle down. And I think maybe very soon we'll begin to see more enforcement coming up. And you see, the brands need to also play a role, because you see, the law enforcement will not work if they don't have the brands to support them.
Of the brands.
Yes. You see, the same problem that Nigeria has, I think Uganda has also found itself in that position. Yes, Uganda is a landlocked country, but Uganda has become a strategic market for counterfeit, because Uganda also, a lot of country accounts for export destination for Ugandan goods. For whatever goods you find in Uganda, you even be surprised that most goods are exported back to Kenya. The Kenyans come to purchase goods from Uganda, despite the fact that
the goods come through
the goods comes in Mombasa and Uganda. Because of the currency exchange, you understand? It's more cheaper to buy goods.
The taxation.
The taxations. So South Sudan, Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, Northern Tanzania, Rwanda, all accounts for export destination for Ugandan products. So Uganda is also a key strategic partner.
Because of its location.
Because of its location.
So have you employed any track and trace technology to try and be able to identify a product from point of manufacture to the final consumer? Have you employed any track and trace?
Yes, we have a lot of brands. You see, when you say track and trace, who is going to deploy this technology? You understand what I'm saying? It is the brands that are responsible for deploying technology to be able to track and trace their products. A lot of brands are now embracing digital technology to be able to do this. And as investigators, we are also trained, and we are also trained on how to use most of this technology to detect and to trace. So my response to that is yes. The track and trace technology is actually used.
You have said a lot of the big brands, international brands,
yes, have
a manufacturing presence in Nigeria. So meaning that there is a lot of manufacturing under license or franchise in Nigeria. Now, to what extent is this arrangement of franchise manufacturing allowing for the growth of duplication, as we shall see later in the program? Somebody represents a genuine product, gains product knowledge, and then after some time, they go and manufacture the same product. So how is manufacturing under license or franchise spurring this counterfeit problem in Africa, in your view?
Fred, it's not a peculiar problem. It's all over Africa, because you see, I can as well take this bottle, look at it. If I find out that this is a mass-moving product, I can as well take this product to China and have it replicated for me, you know what I'm saying, in the format that I want it, and bring it back into the market and sell it. So what we need to look at is, in the fight against counterfeit, we want to look at IP, intellectual property protection, as well as look at regulatory infringements. These are two key issues that has to be addressed if we must make any headway in the fight against counterfeit. So when you talk about franchising, if you look for Africa, if you look at Nigeria or Africa as well, how many manufacturing companies do we have compared to the numbers of African indigenous and citizens who are franchised for products that are manufactured outside the country? So the number of manufacturing companies in Nigeria are way far fewer than the franchise holders of products that are not manufactured in Nigeria, but are manufactured overseas and imported into Nigeria.
So don't you think there's some negligence on the part of the franchise holders? They don't pay enough attention to the African market. Once the 50 containers is bought, you have paid as the territorial representative. They take their money. Whatever happens thereafter, whether the product is duplicated, whether the African ends up getting a fake version of their product, they pay little attention. Is that something you have found to be a fact, that there isn't sufficient support from the international brands in fighting counterfeits? Most of them are lukewarm, not yes, as aggressive as in the EU. I've been to the EU.
Yes.
The demands on product liability by the brands is heavy. The regulators are heavy. In the US, the fines are so big, and that's why we have many cases of product recalls. As soon as a product is identified on the market, the regulator gives a notice, and the brands run to recall these products. We don't have any product recalls here. Could that be a result of negligence by the international brands? They don't care enough about the African market. Do you think so?
Yes, I want to agree with that. But I also want to tell you from an investigator's perspective that at times the abusers or the infringers of these counterfeit products are also those who have the franchise right and franchise holders.
The franchise holders.
Yes, they are the ones who actually they sabotage the brands most times. They go back and print duplicate copies and they sell in the same market. So you find a franchise holder who is distributing and marketing and selling counterfeit alongside original products.
For our viewers, if you're hearing any noise in the background, we are near a construction site. We're here at the Protea Hotel, Kampala, and there is some noise, but the fight against counterfeits goes on, whether there's a construction site, whether there's noise or not, because it's very important a subject to wait for the noise to go down. We still have to proceed regardless. Besides, I think we're audible enough, we can still pass the message across. Okay, so you are saying that sometimes the persons who are appointed as agents for these international brands actually not only sell the genuine product, but they also have within the same distribution channel a component of selling fake versions.
Fake versions, yeah.
So they actually go out of the way to place orders or get a manufacturer in India or China to manufacture this version. That's what you're saying?
Yes. So the problem is not entirely a China problem or a Middle East problems. We also have amongst us within African franchise holders who are involved in these scrupulous and criminal acts.
So we Africans and the business or the traders in Africa are contributing to this problem.
Yes.
The manufacturer in China who has a factory or in India will take your order and produce according to specification.
Yes.
They may not inquire into the authority on the trademark or the patent.
No, they won't. For them, all they want to do is produce the product, sell it to per order to the willing buyer, and that's it. They want to make money.
And even if you say, I prefer this gauge, this quality, lower quality, that's what they produce.
Yeah, that's what they put. You see, Africans, we are perceived to be poor, you know. So Africa, most of the African countries are virtually price-sensitive markets where people prefer to buy cheap things. You know what I'm saying? They don't mind whether they are the products they buy, they are incurring expenditure. They have to repeat buying these products over and over again because the quality is bad and it's not sustainable. They just keep buying. They prefer to buy the poor and cheap quality products in the market. So there's need for sensitization. There's need for education, even among the consumers.
And even the regulators.
And the regulators,
everybody.
yes. We need a whole stable mobilization to be able to address these issues.
Solomon, last episode we dealt with two brands.
Yes.
We dealt with Pampers
and Always.
And
Always Pad.
And Always sanitary pads. Products from Procter & Gamble, one of the fortune companies in the world. But in our work, we have come across several other products from big brands that are affected by counterfeits. And today we have on the show one specific but popular, fast-moving product from a Dutch brand. It is called Philips. And we have had a lot of confusion about this flat iron, which I will request that we can have. The Philips flat iron, Solomon, I'm old enough to have seen a Philips more than 40 years ago. This brand has graced the continent of Africa, I don't know for how many years, before I was born. The only thing is that it keeps changing design, and now you have a cute Philips here. But right here, Solomon, you have a product that is a source of both pain and enjoyment by consumers, depending on what you buy. If you're going to buy the genuine, you're going to have a good consumer experience. If you're going to buy a duplicate, which looks like the genuine, you're going to have issues. Your clothes get burned, or performance is below optimum, and then you need to do a replacement. I would request Solomon that with these two products here, you help us, if you can. How do we know what is fake? Because these products were all obtained in our previous operations from the market. What can you tell us about these products?
Yeah, thank you. Philips, in Africa, we are confronted with a number of reports on counterfeited Philips flat irons, specifically flat irons.
Usually, tell us before we go further. Philips, this is a Dutch.
Yes.
This is a Dutch
product.
Where are the Philips flat irons that are sold in Africa? Where are they manufactured?
Yes, you see, Philips have a lot of factories across the world. It doesn't matter where the original is manufactured, but is the supply chain legitimate?
So what is the supply chain for Philips flat irons coming to Africa?
Yes, there's a distributor channel. Each country, Uganda has a distributor, you know what I'm saying, that distributes flat iron. It must come from the authentic retailer.
Now I'm talking of the manufacturing.
The manufacturing. You see, when it comes to manufacturing, it doesn't matter where the factories are. For instance, a company might have 10 factories distributed across the world, but they might be shipping from one source or two sources. Do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying, I can manufacture in China and probably...
So does China manufacture Philips flat irons? The official, the genuine product, is it manufactured in China as well?
That's what I'm saying. It is not where it is manufactured that really matters. In detecting counterfeits, there are several indexes, there are several determinants. Where a product is manufactured is not the main determinant. You see, for instance, a product might be manufactured in China, some manufactured in Hong Kong, some manufactured, but all are shipped, maybe say, to Amsterdam, from where it is distributed. So the determinant of counterfeit, one of the key areas of determinant of counterfeit is to streamline the supply chain.
Okay, so this box here has some words in Arabic.
Yes.
Either Arabic or there's Arabic, then there is some language, I don't know, it looks like Russian or something. And then it also has, this is made in Singapore. It shows that it's made in Singapore.
Oh.
But I don't know whether it's the box or the flat iron. Where is that made?
This is made in, let me see. You can tell this as I look at this.
You see why the country of origin is important, Solomon?
Yeah.
One time I was in Dubai, and I went and found a Ugandan toothbrush on the market. Some Pakistanis were selling it, and it showed that it was made in Germany, but it had the Ugandan. So I asked them how. They said no, very good import. They didn't know I was a Ugandan. This is high quality, made in Germany. And so now this one is made in the Netherlands. No, this one is made in China, but designed in the Netherlands. Okay? And it shows Philips Consumer Lifestyle BV. So I think that's the company. Yes. I don't know if this has...
the same?
Does it have
no,
the
this is made in Singapore.
Does it show the company, Philips? That doesn't show.
That doesn't show.
So for me, as a lay person, already I'm seeing issues. Because I know that it's a requirement that every product must have the brand owner marked on the product. If it's a product of Coca-Cola company, it will show that Coca-Cola company. You can't have Coca-Cola which doesn't show it's from Coca-Cola company. So the fact that we have a product just saying made in Singapore and it's looking like a Philips might be a sign. Okay, maybe go ahead and tell us.
Yes, like I said to you, Philips may have different factories across the world. That probably wouldn't be the problem. But when it comes to electronics, one way of determining the electronics, aside from what I initially told you about trying to streamline the supply chain is to carry out a performance test. If you carry out a performance test, you'll be able to determine if this is
what
a
do you mean
counterfeit.
performance test? You open.
Yes, you open and plug it into power and see how it performs.
So when you're buying a flat iron, always ask.
No,
Yes.
first and foremost, you are advised to buy products from a genuine retailer or a genuine distributor.
First, look for a genuine, authentic
distributor or retailer. The number two, you have to do what we call a performance test before you take the iron home. Don't just pick the iron and buy it in the box, pay for it, and take it home without testing it. So
you ask the guy to test for you.
To test for you. So there are few things we can look out for in these irons as you have presented
before
them to
testing.
Now.
Can you look
yes.
out?
Yes, we can look out for a few things. I can tell from my training that this is a counterfeit flat iron. Even though I've not performed a
Do you want to
test.
compare both of them?
Yes,
so that
I would like to
maybe you
compare.
tell us the
Yes.
differences.
At times, from the fixtures on the boxes, you may not be able to easily differentiate between a genuine one and a counterfeit one. But the product in itself, when you carry out a performance test...
From the box, I could tell. One had Philips BV,
Yes.
made in China, but from the Netherlands company. The other one just has made in Singapore.
Yeah.
Let's open this.
At times, you'll be able to detect, but most times, you probably also will not be able to differentiate.
Okay, so beyond the box...
Yeah, beyond the box, for the purpose of the viewers, I don't know whether they'll be able to pick the fixtures I'm going to these demonstrations properly. Without a performance text, I can tell between the two cables. You can tell between the textures of the two cables. You can see this is a more thicker cable.
More thicker?
Yes.
Meaning
this
what?
looks original. This cable.
How is the cable?
The diameter of this cable.
Is it thickness or?
Yes, the thickness and even the texture.
What's the difference?
The difference is, you see, this is lighter and this is more reinforced. So this will probably lead to fire quite easily. It will break and lead to fire outbreak. This is more reinforced and may probably not, you will not probably have a fire incident or any case of electric shock from this.
So the fake one has a lighter...
Yes, you can see the texture. It's not properly reinforced. You can see that this one has double layers and is well reinforced. So can you tell the difference in the cable?
Oh yeah. This is stronger actually.
It's stronger. So this one has more resistance and this one has...
So meaning that the wires inside this one
it's not up to weaker, it's not up to standard, and it's not reinforced. This is a more...
So you can get a short circuit.
You get circuit, it can get fire, it can burn. This is more thicker.
Can we open it properly?
So you can tell the difference. It's quite simple. So
okay.
for consumers,
genuine,
yes,
fake.
For consumer out there, when you go out there, you want to look at the cables, the cord, and make sure that the cord you have is a little bit thick, reinforced, compared to one that is lighter, tinier, and
challenge is if you've never bought a genuine, then
you may probably not be able to
trouble.
know. But there is another way to detect with the cord. This is where you have the cord, the length.
So let me hold it here.
Now the genuine Philips flat iron has a
longer cord.
A longer cord. The cord is 161 centimeter of.
That's 1.5, slightly more.
Yes. While the counterfeit one is usually
shorter.
126 centimeter or thereabout. It's shorter. You see, this gives you a room to plug. You have enough
The counterfeiter wants to save on the length of the cord, the material used, so that the cost is lower.
Lower. So at the end of the day, you have a substandard product that will not serve you.
Not only is it shorter, but also the wires inside are substandard. And the plug, should the plug be like that?
Yes, the plug should be reinforced.
No, should it be like 3?
Yes,
that kind of plug?
Yes, it should be a 3-pin plug.
Not
those,
2?
No, there are those who come with a 2-pin plug.
Which are genuine?
Which are genuine. But the quality of the plug itself the quality of the plug is even better than this as well. This and the cord are not the standard quality that is required for a flat iron. So when you plug this into electricity, it is likely that it will burn. You will see sometimes you have this will stick to your stitch because there is a burn and you start have some electric.
You get some sparks.
Some sparks and all of that. So this is a counterfeit Philip iron.
Now, Solomon, you talked about performance test. Can you do maybe some performance test? We have
before we go to performance test, I'll also take you through this. Can you see this length? For a counterfeit, for a genuine product, this rubber cable here is 7 centimeters long.
From the base here?
From the base, it's 7 centimeters long. When you look at this, the counterfeit one is usually 5 centimeters long.
Again, they are trying to save on.
And you can see that it's also, this is thicker, and you can see that this is lighter. So these are some of the features.
But let's look at, there are some words there. On this one, they are showing nylon, I think the different materials.
Yes. Even the texture, if you look at the rubber texture of this, they aren't the same. Can you see it? This is shiny.
The material is different. But they look at the base, the ironing surface. What difference is there?
Yeah, if you look at the base, the ironing, you can see that the colors are different.
This is more fine.
This is a finer finishing of the sole plate, and this one, as you can see, it's a lighter plate.
Yeah, lighter.
Yeah, it's much lighter, and it's shining. And if you look at the tip of the iron, you can tell as well. Can you see the finishing?
What's the difference?
You can see this, and you can also see this.
The plate below protrudes out a little more on the genuine one.
It's more sharper and refined here. You know what I'm saying? And this one has. So this
Very
is
short.
definitely a counterfeit Philip iron. So now you can now go to a performance test.
But before you go to the performance test, you look at the shape. How on earth do you expect? I'm sure even the very educated Nigerians cannot, even with a PhD, you cannot tell the difference.
Certainly.
So how, just explain this. How then does somebody who is not Philips get the mold, for example, for this handle and manufacture it and produce it exactly without the license or approval of Philips? Because it's the same.
Yeah, this happened across a lot of companies, a lot of counterfeit operators have invested a lot in technological advancement, and they're able to come up with. So yes, they can also copy it effectively. And at times, we have scenarios where the counterfeit products are almost more superior in quality to even the original genuine products, especially when it comes to apparel and garments.
Yeah, but don't you think that the manufacturing unit must only manufacture, for example, this Philips, when they have got authorization from the trademark owner? If you just walked up and said, manufacture for me a Mercedes-Benz part, will they just make it? Unless you are really a representative from Mercedes. So don't you feel, therefore, that I think there is some complicity and connivance with these Chinese or Indian or whoever manufacturers they are? You can't let them off the hook completely.
Yes, but this happens. And that's why we have counterfeit products all around and flooded across the African market.
Let's do a performance test.
Okay, it's on. This is on.
So let it face the cameras. So which one is genuine? This
is genuine, and
this is fake.
Yes.
So somebody out there might be saying, does it matter, provided it irons my shirt, I hit the road, go to work?
Yeah, but you see, the original Philip iron, one of the ways to determine what is an original Philip iron is how the temperature is distributed on the sole plate. If you buy a counterfeit Philip iron, for instance, when you plug it into power and you switch it on, you discover that the distribution of the temperature is uneven. One side is hotter than the other. But in the
so it can burn so much up
yeah,
here.
so that's why you see when you put on,
is cold.
yes, you see it burns your clothes here. You have one section of the iron that has picked your clothes and burned it, and the other section is good. So one of the performance tests you want to look at if you want to detect the counterfeit Philip iron is to switch it on and ensure that the temperature is distributed evenly.
So that when you glide
across the fabric,
you get the same effect.
You get the same.
Not being
yes. So the temperature is
actually which burn in some sections.
Yeah. So the temperature is evenly distributed. That's number one. Number two, like you see, we have switched on this one. When the temperature reaches certain level, it regulates itself and switch off. So that is where you have the thermostat. The thermostat is working perfectly well. But you have the counterfeit one, when you switch them on, they remain in one temperature.
Let's show. So this light has not gone off.
This light has not gone off. You cannot regulate it. The temperature stays at one output and it's likely to burn your clothes. While this will never burn your clothes because it regulates itself. You see the lights will go on and the lights will come up.
Let's show the camera. So you're saying that this light, it never went on actually?
Yeah, this one never went off because it's a counterfeit. It's not even working because as much as it's a brand new from the market, it's still not working properly.
And even the, oh my God, the knob doesn't move.
Doesn't move. You see this one, the knob moves.
The knob is so hard.
Yes.
Oh, this is the knob doesn't move.
Doesn't move. And can you feel the weight?
This is like
yes, it's more lighter than
quarter
this.
a kilo.
Yeah, it's more lighter than this.
It's lighter.
It's lighter. Yeah. So these are the differences that any consumer who comes across the Philip iron. You see this when I switch it on, the power is on. It regulates itself.
But this one, the power didn't go on.
It's a counterfeit iron. Anything can happen. You might buy it and it doesn't work. You might buy it, it works and it burns your clothes.
Actually, it's not even heating.
It's not even heating, yeah. So that shows that it's a counterfeit.
But the question again, Solomon, you've done brand security for Philips. Have you had a program like this to try and sensitize the consumers? I know you had a program. What was its name? Crime Fighters.
Yes.
Used to be on the UBC.
Yes.
2013. You did some work. Don't you think the brands need to do more? That's the question I keep asking. To help the consumers, because this fake product, we bought it on the market. They are many. They are all over the place. Shouldn't Philips do something?
Yeah, the brands have the responsibility to carry out strategic communication, to enlighten the general public about their brands and what consumers should look out for in differentiating between counterfeit and genuine products. I think most of the brands do.
I have never seen an advert talking about a new flat iron or new this and telling us, warning us about the fake versions. I've not seen that.
Yeah, they do it. I think it depends on how. I think most times they carry out this sensitization through their agents. Their local representatives and agents are the ones who are responsible, because Philips does not have a presence here in Uganda. You see,
it has through the agents.
It's the agent. So the agent has probably a budget and responsibility to be able to educate the public. Because you see, once counterfeit takes over the market, it affects his market share. So he has a responsibility as part of his business, you understand, to ensure that he does not lose his market share as far as product sales are concerned.
Is this part of the brand of Philips flat iron? This shape, this design, this color, is it something that you look out for when you are doing brand protection for Philips? Or you don't care, provided you find any flat iron without the name Philips, does shape matter? Design matter?
Yes, design matter, because these are one of the integral part of the trademark registration. No other person, unauthorized person is not allowed to actually infringe on your IP by creating something that is even similar to your design, similar to your name, and yes.
So meaning that if you're a consumer, you know that this is the Philips design.
Yes.
If you find another product looking exactly like this, and it's not a Philips, then that's a warning sign. Yes. In fact, Solomon, our investigators went onto the market, and they found another brand. I think we have it here, looking exactly like this, And we are very concerned why you, the protector of the Philips brand, maybe you introduced another product and you didn't tell the consumers. You look at this. Even by looking at the box, it is called a Lucid.
Yes.
And it has a name Lucid. The shape is the same. I don't know what else is the same or not, but anybody can see. But it's called a Lucid. And this one is also made in China. It says it's quick and effective. So I think it's a competitor of Philips. It says it's a product of Chiboko Enterprises Limited. Okay? I know Chiboko Enterprises have been distributors for Philips. I don't know if they still are. But can you maybe open this product and we see if it is any different? From the outlook, it looks the same. And yet you're telling us that the design of the product matters. Okay, let me have that box so we just see. Naturally, because the product looks similar. Now this is a box of
okay.
Solomon, before you go, we want the viewers to see. Even the box looks the same. That is Lucid there, and this is Philips.
Okay, for the purposes of clarification, what I'm holding is not Philips, so I'm not competent to speak about Lucid, but...
Does it look like Philips?
Yes, it does look like Philips, and I think this...
In what aspect?
Design, and the colors, the shape, it does look like Philips, but if I look at the brand name, it's called Lucid, it's not a Philips ion. But I think this can be subject to trademark review and see whether there's any infringement on the Philips.
What I need to say here for the viewers is that this design, this shape, this pattern, these colors that we see that Philips has on its flat iron are protected under industrial design registration. In some places, they are protected under patent
Yeah.
registration, meaning that it represents an infringement if you copy the shape design
Yeah.
without the authorization. The only thing I see is that the industrial design protection in Uganda, for example, and I think worldwide, you are given protection for 5 years for the first registration, and you can apply twice for renewal of the same period, 5 years, making a total of 15 years.
15
so
years.
what we don't know is whether this flat iron, which looks exactly like Philips, has also got its industrial design registration, which has been allowed, that is similar. Now, but that is now legalese. For us as consumers, we're looking for a good deal, we're looking for value for money, we're looking for a product that can be able to serve us at home. So I think there is a need, again, I'm pushing it back to you, the brands. I think there's a need for Philips to come out and explain, what is this look-alike? I think if the United States government saw somebody with a creature which looks like a dollar, they have an obligation to come and explain and say, look, this is ours or this is not ours. Why don't you, as Philips, now that we have showed you that there's another product on the African market that looks like yours, why don't you issue a statement and come out and say, look, if you are using this product, it is not associated with our qualities and our values as a company. We've done this for 100 years. That is something else. Because I am sure many consumers go and buy this product believing that it's associated with Philips. So there is confusion that...
Yes, definitely we will take this on, and I think Philips will review their trademark registrations and see whether there is a gap that Lucid also has exploited. But I can assure you, if this crosses the border, of course...
The border of where?
Uganda. You get what I'm saying? It will be subjected...
To go where, for example?
For instance, if it crosses into Kenya, you know, the trademark law of Kenya is different from the trademark law of Uganda. What I'm saying is if Lucid has actually exploited maybe any gap within the registration, maybe the expiration of registration, and they go ahead and register their designs, but it might not apply in Kenya. You understand? So you might find out that Lucid is only in Uganda, is only allowed and permitted in Uganda.
Don't you think, therefore, that the demand for branded products, you remember in the last episode, we were talking about the drivers of counterfeiting. And one of them is aspiration. We always aspire to associate with quality, to associate with, you know, to identify yourself that you've arrived. You also use a Philips flat iron. How do you see the demand for branded products as a driver for counterfeiting or for duplicating?
Yes, of course. Counterfeiters will always go for premium brands and very popular brands, of course, because they want to go for brands that are well known, that enjoy their household names. Because of course they will not counterfeit brands that are not known, because they are not in the market.
No, but wouldn't, if somebody produced any shape of flat iron, provided it irons, why must you want to associate your ironing with something of class?
You see, of course, they have to, you see, Lucid has to do something. Of course, this is also some way, somehow trying to deceive the public.
It's a passing off action, if you ask me.
Yes.
Unless they have the protections, really, which we don't know, but for purposes of the show, it's looking exactly the same.
Yes. So I think Philips will look into this matter and see how they can take it further.
Okay, so as we conclude, so we have now 3 flat irons, as you can see, but all these flat irons look the same. They look like Philips, but we only have one genuine Philips among all these 3. The middle one, this is a fake. It calls itself a Philips as well. This is the genuine Philips. It has a thermostat, so you can start. The temperature is even on the base when you're ironing, so your clothes will not get burnt. This did not even go on. The knob cannot even move. The thermostat was not working at all. The last one is a Philips lookalike, but this is stated to be another brand. We are not saying that this is a Philips, we are saying it's another brand. It calls itself a Lucid. And the issue here for you, the consumer, is how then would you be able to tell that these products are actually different from each other? If I can turn, you can actually see that these products look the same. So what is brand security doing? What is the brand owner doing? Solomon here says that I think Philips needs to come out. One, to tell us more about their genuine product. What are those features and characteristics we need to be looking out for? How did this fake product even come onto the market? We are told this is made in Singapore. The box looks alike. The price is similar, if not even more expensive. This clearly shows made in China, but manufactured under license from Philips Consumer Health Products, whatever they call it. The other one, which also is a lookalike, a copycat, is made in China as well, but it's not made for Philips. And what we can tell you here is that intellectual property protection protects the design as well. So it's not just the name that you'll be looking out for, but also the shape. So if you know the shape of the Philips, and there is another shape looking like the Philips, then some questions might arise there. Probably Lucid as well needs to come out and explain what is the relationship, because we as consumers, you as consumers, are confused by this. So, Solomon, we would like to thank you for gracing our show again and giving us more and more nuggets of wisdom and information about this product. We would like to end here by saying that if time allows, I think our friend Solomon, the African from Nigeria, who has a lower voice. The Nigerians are too loud. I'm sure if you lived in I've been to Lagos and some of these places, but quite friendly, aggressive people, hardworking people. How are you transporting some of that to Uganda here? Because somebody said we're a bit timid and meek. You need to infect us with some of the...
Yes, I have been able to impact on those who have been close to me, those who work with me, to say, okay, you need a Nigerian spirit to be able to move things. And quite a number of them have appreciated the fact that they are learning new things from a different economy, a different culture, different way of doing things, and I think they're enjoying it.
Yeah, after all, end of the day, we're all one people, we're all Africans, and this show is dedicated to protecting and safeguarding we the Africans from the multiple effects of counterfeits and fake products that are strewn all over the continent. So I think that's it for now, Solomon. Thank you again. I hope we can have you on the next episode, because I know you've covered a myriad of products, fast-moving consumer goods, and many kinds of products. So we would like to stop here by thanking you again for those who follow us, those who watch us, those who have done this for the past couple of months, those who subscribe, those who share and like our videos. We are here to serve, but we are in this together, and we are signing off by saying, don't be fake, buy and sell only genuine.